This video is about the class expectations for your visual journal that you will use for your daily X. So you'll be going to websites and watching videos and reading articles about different artists and issues in the art world, and you'll be responding visually to them in your sketchbook. So every day you'll view some kind of daily X source, and then in response, you'll create one large page or two smaller pages using drawing and painting or collaged imagery or even Photoshop that relates to that source. So a response to it, a personal reflection, something that it makes you think of, inspiring you to do something in your own art making, something like that. So you can write, you can draw, you can make a combination of those things, all in response to those daily X sources. So in your visual journal, you will be able to determine what it is that you want to put in there. I urge you to pause this video and read this list because there are a lot of things on there, such as responding to the artist and their work, or maybe even trying to use the style or technique of the artist, or making plans for something that you could maybe one day make that was inspired by that artist. So pause this video and read this list. Okay, so in terms of imagery, you can do all different kinds of images. You could do diagrams. So diagrams are great because it shows the viewer how you grouped ideas together, or it's a good way for both the viewer to understand, but also for you to understand how you would build or construct something. Um, Imagery can be observations. So actually drawing things that are in front of you that maybe you see in a new way because of the artist that you just learned about. The imagery can be mixed media. It can be some drawing, it can be some collage, it can have paint in there. It can come from all different sources, things that are out of your bag, in your pocket, and things you find around the school or your home. All of those things can be added in together into your visual journal. It can be photo based. So a lot of you in this class are photographers. And so if you want to make a page in Photoshop where you collage and write things together there, and then just print it out and glue it into your sketchbook, that would be fine as well. And remember, as long as you're using images, and this is a kind of art making, of course, think about having strong visual organization. Think about your positive and negative space, line, the use of color, the use of texture, all of those principles and elements of design. You can also just do mostly imagery if you want. If that's your response to that source from the beginning of class is imagery, that is fine. You can even make a whole page composition that is on the theme of maybe that artist's work or of your response to that artist's work. You can also balance your text and imagery together, figure out how you want them to work together. Maybe they're side by side, but maybe they're mixed up more together. Now, in terms of text, text can be used as image as well. In your visual journal, make sure that we can read the writing, because this is a way that you're trying to communicate to others, to viewers. So you have to make sure that people can actually read your writing. Think about your layout, where you're putting things, and what those decisions mean in terms of how the viewer reads the page, going from one area to another. Do you want to lead them through that? Or are they supposed to go randomly? Would that change the meaning of what you're trying to say if they started in one area that you weren't expecting? Make sure the language is appropriate for class. And this is a great time to use that art vocabulary that's been in those daily X sources or that we use in class. Text can also be used as shape. Think about fonts. Think about it filling shapes. So this is a great example here of having fun with letters. It can be the subject itself. Even though the winged victory statue is here, I almost look at the writing first, and it's almost more important to that composition. You can have mostly text. This is what I do in my own sketchbook. I actually write out most of my ideas, and then I add in diagrams and other little drawings. This is a great place to experiment, to just try out ideas and try out techniques. So, show that you're willing to try things. If you mess up somewhere on the page, just make it work, just make it work. Glue something on top, turn it into something else, add some paint, whatever, just make it work. Ask me and ask the other people in the class for feedback. And what you want to avoid in your visual journals is having incomplete ones that are disorganized. You should always put in the title and the date so we know what it's in reference to. That you haven't put any effort into it, that it's really messy and not visually pleasing, and that it doesn't connect to the source that you looked at that day. So those are the things you want to avoid. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask because I am here for you.